Welcome back for the second instalment of the BRSCC Mazda MX-5 Championship. For the very first time, we're here at Pembrey circuit and the weather is gorgeous. Now, we're focusing on the B grid here, and we've got Bryn Griffiths, who you know has been with us for the past few years. He's starting out on pole position, closely followed by Oliver Robinson in second position. Now, we've got 21 cars out on the grid and they're about to get underway, so keep watching and we're going to hand it straight over to Andy McEwen.
Thanks, Lindsay. Well, this grid for the bottom half of the qualifiers after qualifying earlier on this morning. Bryn Griffiths just missing out on the A grid, but he gets the pole position for race 1B. Ollie Robinson alongside. Michael Nibbs and Thomas Jenkins are next, ahead of Nicola Doyen and Charles Mugglestone. Then Ollie Jenkins and Alan Hawkins. Richard Wotton and Graham Rumsey round out the top 10, with Chris Malloy and Joseph Wilmot next. Then Bruce Robinson and Jack Wilmot ahead of Clive Chisnell and Richard Bartlett. Christopher Ginn, Peter Lancaster, John Wood, Adam Tyrrell, David Rickards and Adam Craig, one to watch from the back of the grid, had troubles in qualifying. He is a regular A runner, starts off the back of the B grid today. There is Bryn Griffiths then, the blue and gold number 31 car launches from pole position. We're away and racing for the first time here at Pembrey. For many of these drivers, it will be their first racing experience here down in South Wales, so they'll be busy trying to learn the track and stay out of trouble, as well as trying to get into one of those 5 promotion positions, of course. And already it's kicking off down towards turn number 1. Bad start for Oliver Robinson, the 49 car from the outside of row 1. He's on the grass there, on board with Clive Chisnell, who's got cars to the left, cars to the right. Didn't get a great exit from Hatchett's Hairpin either, so he's going to find himself right in the thick of it going through the second corner at Spitfires. And the number 74 car, I think sensibly just trying to sort of stay out of everybody's way here in the early stages. That's the number 20 going up the inside of him there. That's Christopher Ginn from 17th on the grid. More locking up now towards the S's. Around the outside goes Alan Hawkins, the 722 car. 57 behind him is Oliver Jenkins as well. Lots of shuffling going on here, but Bryn Griffiths leading the way, I can tell you that much. 45 is Graham Rumsey there, the white, red and grey car. More locking up of the brakes down towards Brooklands. Lots of drivers maybe not quite getting enough heat into those brakes on the opening lap, or maybe just being a bit over-enthusiastic with them in the early stages. Griffiths with a big lead though, pulling away from, I think, Michael Nibbs in second position, having started third and taken advantage of the poor start from Ollie Robinson on the outside. That, I think, is Adam Craig. Yes, it is. The yellow number 29 car should make progress. Had me worried for a second. Oh, spin and bang into the pit wall. And who is that? That looks as though it was, is that Chris Malloy maybe that's gone off? I think it is, the 21 car into the pit wall. People run over to check that he's okay, and and what's happened at turn 1? Hawkins has dropped down the order now as well. It's all changed now. Oh, there's contact between Robinson and Robinson and the 45 car, that is, that's gone round of Graham Rumsey. So Graham Rumsey, who was in 5th, has spun. He rejoins, but well, everything happened then all of a sudden within the space of about 2 corners. We've lost Chris Malloy. Hawkins has lost ground. So too will have Graham Rumsey, of course, as a result of that. So what's that done now to our top 5 positions? Bryn Griffiths will still be leading, but well, Nicola Doyen may now be back into the top 5. He's racing away here with Alan Hawkins, and I reckon Michael Nibbs gained out of all of that as well. Hawkins a bit rattled now. He's getting sideways coming out of Brooklands corner. The safety car, unsurprisingly, is being scrambled, which is disastrous news for Bryn Griffiths, because he had that nice little cushion over the rest of the field. Really good restart for Bryn Griffiths, a couple of them not quite on their toes. Alan Hawkins guilty of that as well. So the leader pulling away, and then second and third are together, and then another big gap back to Alan Hawkins in 4th. Across the start-finish line we go then, and the pair of Jenkins are side by side. That's Oliver up the inside of Thomas for second position, and he's going to surely make that stick. Under braking for the Hatchett's Hairpin. Thomas really needs to get back in line. Oh, Mugglestone up the inside of everybody, trying to go to 4th place. Adam Craig is in there as well, so too is Michael Nibbs, and Nicola Doyen, poor old Nicola Doyen, gets elbowed out over the grass and drops 3 or 4 positions. There's more carnage, unfortunately, and that is Jack Wilmot, number 80, who's gone around. So Jack Wilmot does not survive the restart in one piece, but Bryn Griffiths does. Look at the lead that he's got now over Oliver Jenkins, in second, Thomas Jenkins third, Hawkins is 4th, and Michael Nibbs is 5th. So Michael Nibbs 5th and Adam Craig 6th. They're the 2 yellow cars on your screen now. Adam Craig from the back of the grid, and he's had a spin in this race. He's been from the back to the top 10 twice. Can he now get into that all-important top 5? Well, if he can, it'll be at the expense of another driver recovering from a spin. Michael Nibbs, unless, of course, they can both get past Alan Hawkins. I thought there'd be plenty of shuffling. Charles Mugglestone, I think, sort of instigated all of that on the restart down towards the first corner when he went 3 wide up the inside, and there simply wasn't room for all of them, and it was poor Nick Ledoyen on the outside line who ended up plummeting down the order. Is that Craig up the inside of Nibbs, possibly, or was it Nibbs going up the inside of Hawkins? Either way, the 2 yellow cars are side by side now down the pit straight. I think this is Adam Craig about to go through into 5th position as we go on to the final lap of the race. Bryn Griffiths less than a lap away from a victory, but they're 3 abreast here for 4th position, and Adam Craig has done it. He goes up the inside of both of them. So not only does he get past Michael Nibbs, but they both get ahead of Alan Hawkins, and Hawkins at the start of the final lap is now out of the promotion spots. Charles Mugglestone here is in 7th position, and he's not quite given up on a top 5 yet either. Top 3 can sort of afford to just run it now to the flag in the order they're in. They don't need to fight each other too much because they're all going to get promoted anyway. It is all action though for 4th on back, because that is where the promotion line cut-off is. There are the 2 Jenkins. Thomas still ahead of Oliver. Are they catching Bryn on this final lap? Maybe fractionally. I don't think they're quite going to get there though before the flag. What is going on for 4th though? That is the big question. Adam Craig had it the last time we saw him with Michael Nibbs in 5th. Is that still the order, or has Alan Hawkins been able to find a way back through? No, he hasn't. So it's still Craig with the black stripe down the front of his car, then the all yellow of Nibbs behind. But it is all really about Bryn Griffiths, because he is about to take his first victory of the season. It may be in a B race, but he'll take the checkered flag anyway and becomes the 4th different B race winner of the season so far. Bryn Griffiths with a dominant victory takes it over Oliver Jenkins 2nd, Thomas Jenkins 3rd, Adam Craig 4th, and Michael Nibbs just hangs on to the final promotion spot in 5th after a frenetic final couple of laps after that safety car. Got a feel for Alan Hawkins, who was in a top 5 position all race, but ends up finishing 6th and misses out on promotion. So it's Griffiths, then Oliver and Thomas Jenkins on the podium with him. Adam Craig and Michael Nibbs round out the top 5. Then Alan Hawkins, Charles Mugglestone, Nick Ledoyen, another one to drop down towards the end. Then Clive Chisnall and Graham Rumsey. The list of retirements, unfortunately, is fairly lengthy. Peter Lancaster, Joe and Jack Wilmot both retired after the restart. Chris Malloy brought out the safety car in the first place when he spun into the pit wall, with Richard Wotton the early retirement as well. What a great race that was, though. Drama.
Well, this is not
start
just
to
a
finish.
congratulations, this is double congratulations. First win.
Yep, about time. But yeah, it was. I just got a good start and then kept away really. So that's all I needed to do. And yeah, my car was nearly written off at Brands Hatch. So this win is dedicated to the people who put it back together, which is NHA Motorsport and in particular Paul.
Amazing. Congratulations on coming 2nd, Ollie, but not just that, you managed to get the lead on your brother.
Yeah, it was a close race, and the safety car helped a bit because Tom made a mistake when it went into the pit, so I managed to get him into the hairpin first corner, so yeah, it's good.
Tom, that was a fantastic start for you, but your brother did get the pip on you when the safety car came out.
He did, yes. So I'm going to never go hear the end of it now, and to be honest, you can probably buy dinner tonight. Fish and chips is going to be my recommendation.
Race 2B is about to get underway here for the 2nd day at Pembrey Circuit, and the sun is still shining. But more curiously, I'm about to go ask Will Hayden, who's starting out in 2nd position, why is there an upside down Ali Bray in his car? Will, what's going on with the car?
Brake pedal's a little bit soft, and I don't really want to be going into turn 1, so we're just adjusting it a little bit so I can get around the corner basically.
Well, that would be useful. Are you thinking you're still going to be able to make it out?
Yeah, I should be able to make it out. Just if we can't adjust the pedal, then it's going to be a real tough race for me to be able to compete. So we'll have to see what happens. But yeah.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Cheers,
right.
thanks.
Following on for that, we're going to hand it straight over to Andy to see if Will makes it out and see what all the action is.
Yeah, thanks, Lindsay. Well, it looks like he is out there then on the front row of the grid. Put a soft brake pedal, the last thing you need here at Pembrey. Richard Baxter, William Hayden, Scott Leach, Matt Luff and Dave Turton are your drivers that got demoted from the A race after race 1, so they started the front of the B grid. Alan Hawkins just missing out on a promotion spot in that frenetic first race. Outside the top 10, Oliver Robinson and Christopher Ginn looking to try and improve positions if they can. And there were a few retirements from the previous race as well, and they fill out the bottom positions on the grid. Not sure whether Chris Malloy will be there after that hefty whack that he gave the pit wall in yesterday's first B race. The grey car then of Richard Baxter on the pole position, William Hayden alongside him, and then the blue and yellow of Scott Leach ahead of Matt Luff and Dave Turton, both of whom non-finished their first A race. Away we go, 20 minutes of racing here in race 2B at Pembrey is underway, and the white car of William Hayden seems to have got a good launch. He's going wheel to wheel here with the pole sitter Richard Baxter, the 72 of Matt Luff, arguably one of the favourites coming into this race. He's trying to charge through the middle of the grid as well, but it's going to be Baxter that leads them. Round the outside is going Alan Hawkins, 3 abreast, Matt Luff in the middle. Someone's going to end up on the grass surely, and it's Hawkins who gets a touch from Luff as well for his troubles. On board with Bruce Robinson now, who had a scary spin in the first B race coming out of the right-hander at Woodlands after contact from another car. Number 3 is Richard Wootton. He started off towards the back of the grid. He's passed 3 or 4 cars already, and he's going for another place now at the inside there towards the S's. Of course, Richard was an early non-finisher in race 1B as well. Big lockups there as the drivers descend upon the S's for the first time of asking. 74 there going around the outside line is Clive Chisnall. He was another driver who was involved in most of the midfield battles in the previous race, but we saw top 5 positions changing hands frequently in the opener, and we're going to see the same again here. Richard Wootton, I reckon, could continue to make progress towards that top 5 maybe, because he's just gone up the inside and gained another position at the expense of Richard Bartlett there. So Richard Wootton, the black number 3 car, look at that, he was second to last on the grid, and he's passed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cars already by my reckoning. There is another one, or a couple of the AB Motorsport cars. Number 80, first of all, is Jack Wilmot, who had a spin in the previous race. Still streaming through though at the end of the opening lap of the second B race of the day, and one of the AB Motorsport cars is way off on the grass further back, whilst another one, Matt Luff, towards the front of the field, is having a rather more pleasant time of it. He's just got past Will Hayden, so Will Hayden down another spot now. I think that's 4th position, so if he loses one more, he will be out of the promotion spots. Richard Baxter, therefore, is still your race leader, but Scott Leach has gone through into 2nd place, and that possibly is what triggered the loss of positions there for Will Hayden, as he's down to 4th. Is the battle for 5th, so that's the back marking car, isn't it, of David Rickards. Then 5th position, the white, grey and red car of Graham Rumsey. Is he being reeled in by the cars behind? I don't think so. The 34 car's going a lap down, so the black car on the right-hand side of the screen is a lap behind everybody else, trying desperately to stay out of their way. Oh, Hawkins runs out wide, Mugglestone up the inside, Wootton's on the grass as well. It's all kicking off again at the first corner, and Mugglestone's back past Alan Hawkins. This is some of the best racing I've seen for an awfully long time. They're fighting over 6th position, but they're all falling over each other to try and get back onto turns with Graham Rumsey, who is laughing inside his helmet, I'm sure, seeing all the shenanigans going on behind it, because he's just pulling away further from them, corner by corner. Ledoyen's up the inside of Hawkins now, who just can't catch a break in this race. Robinson up the inside of Ledoyen, changing again by the corner. One driver looks like he's going to gain a position one corner, and then it doesn't work, loses momentum, and then straight away there's another driver behind applying the pressure, and it's Oliver Robinson who will come out of that the best. He gains a position. Ledoyen, so eager to try and get the switch back out of Brooklands, almost loses control of the car completely. Oh dear, Wootton's on the grass again. It's been a stressful race this for Richard Wootton, and I'm sure his family and friends watching on from the sidelines are feeling the stress levels too. He's been so close to getting into that top 5, and it's just not quite going to work. So too though as Alan Hawkins, he's back up the inside of Charles Mugglestone. Oh, what a shame, we're on to the final lap of the race. Someone hide the checkered flag. What a spectacular battle this has been. It's now looking increasingly unlikely that any of these drivers will get into a promotional spot, but they've had the race of their lives to try and get there, and Oliver Robinson is into 6th position now. How did he do that? Went past Mugglestone and Hawkins down the pit straight. Ledoyen's there as well. 3 abreast into Spitfires. This won't work. Something has to give. Typically in Mazda MX-5 racing, no one gives, and so I think Alan Hawkins may have just found himself hung out to dry, almost on the grass. There's Oliver Robinson, the 49 car, maybe now making a break in 6th. Yes, he is, from Mugglestone 7th, Ledoyen 8th, Hawkins 9th. Don't count out Joe Wilmot yet. He's back ahead of Richard Wootton now. Mugglestone and Ledoyen side by side. Mugglestone comes out on top. I don't think I've breathed for about 20 minutes. This has been fantastic racing. Missing out on all the fun, though, are our front runners, and it will be Matt Luff, who I believe has already taken the checkered flag. So he was 18 seconds clear of anybody else. Dave Turton is second, Scott Leach is third, Richard Baxter comes home in fourth position, and now we wait for Graham Rumsey comes home in fifth, and what a hard fifth position it was as well. Sixth is going to go to Oliver Robinson, and then everybody else is second. They're seventh, side by side across the line. Charles Mugglestone gets it in seventh, Alan Hawkins eighth, Richard Wootton ninth, and Nick Ledoy in 10th. Well, that is a prime example of how a results sheet does not do justice to the race. If you just looked at that results sheet and saw that Matt Luff took the victory by 18 seconds, you'd think that was a dull and processional affair. But it was anything but. Some of the best racing I've seen for a long time there, and more of the same in race 3 later on.
Matt, you ran away with that. In fact, you didn't just run away with that. That was an 18-second lead.
Well, I mean, from the start, it was sort of a lights the flag victory for me. I mean, we got a bit of a rough start. I fell back, I think, 2 or 3 places. But from then on, I just kept my head down and kept pushing. And yeah, I mean, we got the win, so we can't ask much more.
Dave, you've got to be thrilled. Not only the fact you've got to race at Pembrey for the first time, you're on the podium and your first ever podium.
Yeah, what a fantastic result. Thanks to Mike Comber and all the guys in the team who've been training me up over the last 6 months of track days. It's my 4th ever race in a car, and I was loving every second.
Scott, what a phenomenal race for you.
Yes, it was really exciting, very close. I think the first one got away, and then it was second, third and fourth, and we were dicing all the way, and I was sitting in fourth for probably, 4 or 5 laps from the end, and then I managed to get into third, and then I seen the last lap and I thought, I'm defending this is my third, and managed to keep it to the end. So yeah, fantastic race.
Third and final race is about to get underway here for the B group of the BRSCC Mazda Championship, and we've got Jack Moody starting in pole position and Tom Jenkins, who's quite evenly matched against Jack, starting in second position. Now Tom's managed to break away from his brother, who is currently down in 5th, so let's see if we can keep the gap away from him. So Andy, we're going to hand it over to you for all of the action.
Lindsay. Well, there were no non-finishers in race number 2A, so the top 5 grid positions on this grid are the bottom 5 finishers from race 2A. Jack Moody, Thomas Jenkins, Michael Nibbs, Bryn Griffiths and Oliver Jenkins, the top 5. All of them, apart from Jack Moody, making their second B grid appearance of the day. Really, though, I expect the action to come from behind. I'm really looking forward to seeing the resumption of this Charles Mugglestone, Alan Hawkins, Oliver Robinson, Richard Wootton battle. There are some of the drivers that had issues in the second of the B races. Will Hayden was the only retiree from that race, but a few of those drivers went a lap down, and we'll be looking to try and avoid that fate in race 3B. So here we go then. We've had some great racing already this weekend. The final MX5 Championship race of the weekend gets underway now with Jack Moody, the black car, on pole position. We're a bit hesitant there getting off the line, but I think he will still lead them down towards the Hatchett's hairpin for the first time. The yellow car there of Michael Nibbs tried to fight through into second position. I think he might just do that actually at the expense of Thomas Jenkins, who's locking up the brakes on the outside line there. Then you've got Bryn Griffiths, the race 1B winner. Unfortunately, wasn't able to make that stick and stay in the A group in the second race, so he's back down onto the B grid again, but he'll be enjoying another fight for a potential victory here. The same is true of Oliver Jenkins, who progressed with Bryn in race 1B to race 2A, now in race 3, back in the B grid again because they were in the bottom 5 finishers of the previous A race. Oh, that's not going to work surely. That's Oliver Robinson up the inside, but it did work. He gained 2 places in 1 there. We're on board with number 96 Charles Mugglestone into the back of Nick Ledoy. Round he goes on. The luckless Richard Wootton's involved as well. Clive Chisnall's on the grass. Alan Hawkins was delayed in all of that as well. Remarkably, all 3 of them though are going to rejoin, but right at the back of the grid. So now we've got some real entertainment on our hands, because they were 3 of the drivers we expected to be fighting for top 5 positions, and they're now all going to have to work their way through the field together. Nick Ledoy possibly with some bodywork rubbing on the right rear tyre. That should be okay though, I hope. Say that more optimistically than realistically maybe, but we'll wait and see. But that was a shame that had to happen there. That was Charles Mugglestone getting into the back of Nick Ledoy, and poor old Richard Wootton had nothing to do with that. He had nowhere to go to avoid it. Right, end of lap 1 then, and that's spread the field out a little bit now inside the top 5 or 6. We've still got battling going on though. Jack Moody leads the way, Michael Nibbs in second, more locking up for Thomas Jenkins there, the 56 car in 3rd place. Then Bryn Griffiths is 4th, and into 5th place goes Oliver Robinson up the inside there of one of the BS Motorsport cars, I think that was. Not sure probably Oliver Jenkins, wasn't it, that he got past, but not entirely. It must have been Oliver, because Thomas Jenkins is up in 3rd position. There he is, the red car. Then Bryn Griffiths behind him, looking for maybe his 2nd win of the day. There behind, it is Oliver Jenkins, looking up the inside actually of Oliver Robinson, so the 2 Olivers together. We've got 2 Jenkins in this race, we've got several Robinsons, and we've got 2 Olivers towards the sharp end as well, so at some point I'm bound to get it wrong, so I apologise in advance if I do. But there, no doubt about it, is Thomas Jenkins, the number 56 car, who is in 3rd position now as they go out onto the back straight for the 2nd time of asking. The black car though of Jack Moody leading the way, and Jack finished 16th in the first A race, which was just enough to stay out of the relegation positions, but then in the 2nd A race he finished in 17th, 1 position further back, and that meant that he has been relegated onto the front of this grid. But he ought to have the pace probably to win this one, but Michael Nibbs going with him at the moment. It's always hard to know, isn't it, because sometimes these drivers get sort of missed in all of the frenetic action in the A races, so we don't really know what their true pace is compared to each other, and sometimes when you give them a bit of clean air at the front of the track, they can really surprise you with their speed. Michael Nibbs has been there or thereabouts all day in these B races. He got promoted in the previous one, back into the B group again now. We've seen a few times actually this weekend that once you lock those brakes, it's very hard to unlock them. The cars sort of bounce around a bit once you start doing that. They don't handle very well, and we saw Thomas Jenkins losing that 2nd place there, and we're on to the final lap now as well, so he doesn't really have time to fight back from this. Moody's pulled away from Nibbs over the 2nd half of that lap, so it's going to take a Herculean effort here for Michael if he wants to challenge Jack for the victory. Jack there just tapping the brakes as he comes out of Hatchets. That's odd. So just making sure the brake pedal's still there, I guess. The brakes get a bit of a work over here, because whilst it is a very high speed and flowing circuit, there are a couple of big stops. Obviously the biggest one is down into Hatchets in the first corner, but then this is a big braking zone as well, right down the gearbox into the S's. So there are a couple of places where the brakes really do get worked harder. Because you're running over the curbs so much and over the bumps, it's very easy to get pad knockoff here, which is where the brake pads get knocked away from the discs slightly, and then the next time you go to hit the brakes, they don't connect quite right, and you can end up really out-braking yourself and sometimes going way off the road. So that's why often you'll see the drivers, if they run over the curbs heavily, they'll just sort of dab on the brakes just very gently so as not to slow themselves down too much, but just to check that they've still got the feel of the brake underneath them. Possibly that's what Jack Moody was doing there, but he's not really been too aggressive with the curbs. He's not had to be really, because from start to finish, Jack Moody has led this race by several car lengths, initially over Thomas Jenkins, now over Michael Nibbs, but he is going to be the 6th different B-class winner from 6 races in 2019. Jack Moody takes the checkered flag in the final race of the weekend here at Pembrey. Michael Nibbs is 2nd. Thomas Jenkins will come home 3rd, but he'll be a tad disappointed with that, I think. William Hayden, though, great drive from the back of the grid, and he will be 4th, with Oliver Jenkins rounding out the top 5, and Alan Hawkins, he's 6th again for the 3rd time this year. Alan Hawkins misses out on the top 5 by just 1 position. He fended off Oliver Robinson and Bryn Griffiths by the smallest of margins. Joseph Wilmot got the better of the battle of the Wilmots. He's 9th, with Charles Mugglestone down in 10th, but he did recover well after that first lap off. Clive Chisnall likewise in 11th. Bruce Robinson, Jack Wilmot, Nick Ledoyen and Christopher Ginn round out the top 15. Peter Lancaster was our only non-finisher from that race, because Adam Tyrrell didn't start it, and William Hayden, in his fight from the back of the grid to 4th, set the fastest lap.
You were kept true and fought for every inch of that track.
Yeah, they were on me. I think they were going to close in. If that was much longer a race, then they would have had it. I was done by about lap 12 or whatever it was. So yeah, but good fun. It was good to see them 2 scrapping behind as well.
Did you talk me through your thoughts on that track?
Just had to try to stay with the 2 in front, and managed to, and then managed to pass one to come 2nd.
How was the car holding up towards the end?
It gets very slippery towards the end, so it was struggling, but we made it through.
You still managed to beat your brother, gotta be happy.
Yeah, so this time I managed to get past him, or I started in front of him and didn't let him pass, I should say. So it was a good result today, yeah.